Okay, who here hasn't been to space?
Why?
You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
After seeing the Werewolf by Night special, first of all, as I've said before, I was never on the camp of Marvel's losing control and Marvel can't be Marvel anymore, or was it the Infinity Saga the peak of Marvel? I was never on that camp. Phase 4 obviously was lackluster. I'm gonna say that. I will always say that. There's not many projects that I will. There's not any not any. There's not many projects I will go back and rewatch in Phase 4. However, Werewolf by Night is one of them. And with it being a special, Marvel is now the rumor is out there that they are looking at moving all their series and turning them into specials instead, to where you lose the 9. You don't have the problem with the CGI anymore, as far as 9 episodes and how are we gonna make this work and how are we gonna make that work. Because that special, Werewolf by Night, it was great to me. I thoroughly enjoyed Werewolf by Night. I really did. Right. I had no expectations going in other than what I saw from the reviews of people saying this and this and that. But after seeing it for myself and getting to experience the black and white, the homage to the old horror films, I love the transition scene where Elsa is just up against the bars and you see the shadow and the lights are flickering. Bro, it was brilliantly done. They didn't waste time. There was no whole story building. We knew what the fuck we were doing when it started. The premise was there. You knew what was going on. It didn't take the first episode to to drain and draw out, oh, this is what's going on. Then the next episode. Then by episode 9, we get the suit. No, we saw him as Werewolf by Night. We saw Man-Thing. We saw it. And it was done in 47 fucking minutes. And it was brilliant. Now, could I have had more? Hell yeah, I could have had more. But it was brilliant. So this idea of moving series to specials, I'm not completely against, honestly, because you haven't wowed me with your series besides WandaVision and Loki.
Right, well, and I think, okay, so here's where I started, because I was kind of picking this apart. We mentioned this Phase 4, and the only defense I will make for Phase 4, don't come at me in the chat, is it is the same as Phase 1 as far as it is origin stories and building up the new heroes, right? Only you're coming off the tails of Infinity War. So we built to this crescendo, and now we're back here again. People know this. We've been spoiled with this, now we're getting this shit again. And it will rise as Secret Wars, and it'll go on, right? Maybe they should learn not to do that after Secret Wars. But anyway... the thing with these series is, I'm fine with a series if that is the time you need to tell the story you're trying to tell. Instead of formatting them...
But in a great way, too.
Right, but instead of formatting them to... Every season is going to have 9 episodes, because what do you... I would literally go in and be like, how much do you need? Can you do it in a special? Oh, you need 3 episodes? That's what you need? Do it in 3. Tell the story you need to tell, because when you do format it at 9, at least 2 of those are going to be filler. Where it's like, this could have been taken out and no meat from the story would have been gone. Now you're writing side stories for characters because you're going to introduce, over 9 episodes. They all have to have purpose for fucking being there. Right. It turns into a whole fucking shit show. When in reality, can you do it in a special? Then do it. Do you need 3? Do you need 6 episodes? Loki needed them.
Oh yeah, Loki needed even the filler episode of Loki. It was still slower, but there was a point to what we were doing in that episode. And it was the train episode. That train episode was still slow.
It definitely was, but still, I mean, my whole thing though is, but that was also they were formatted for a set granted a set amount of episodes. But I'm just saying, if your show needs 6, if your show needs 14 to do whatever you're trying to do, fucking do it.
Right.
But if you can do it in a special format, do it that way, because it builds this... I've used the reference on this channel of, I wish they would introduce heroes like my initial, the way I wanted them to introduce Moon Knight, before the show ever happened, was Spider-Man is tracking down, what's going on in this warehouse, or, whatever the problem is, and he busts in, and everyone's knocked out, or dead, and in this case would be dead. And he sees Moon Knight, and Moon Knight throws him, whatever item or whatever, and he's like, you take care of this, I'm busy, and shoots off. And then, based on people's reactions, you do a show on the hero or not. Special is a great way to introduce people real quick, see how people react, and then choose to do more.
I don't know how much how much we're even going to see Moon Knight within the wider scope of the MCU. Now, I say in the supernatural stuff we may see Moon Knight. And I know that Moon Knight, don't hit me in the comments. I know that Moon Knight interacts with the wider Marvel comics outside of his own comics and outside of the supernatural comics. But what I'm saying is the direction that the MCU is going. Can you see Mr. Knight or Moon Knight on Kang's battlefield in Secret Wars?
So one, him not being referenced in Werewolf by Night threw me, because that's where his origin was. They fight. And two, the way they've weakened this man, I don't see it.
I just don't see.
It's real weird because
with Khonshu watching everything.
That's another thing. Khonshu.
Yeah.
What's Khonshu going to be doing during War King? He's over there. Go get him.
Well, that's why.
What?
Even in the comics, he's a part of a stealth squad. I can't
Take out his throat.
I can't think of what they're called, but it's him and Captain America always talking shit to each other. None of them like him because he's like, they're like, okay, we're trying to do this mission, and Khonshu's in his head like, he's evil, kill him.
Yeah.
And he starts murdering fucking bad guys, and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I worship a god that's literally speaking to me, telling me to do this.
I mean, shit, Moon Knight can fly now, though.
No, that is true.
Yeah,
Moon Knight can fly.
But, yeah, I mean, I do like how they're, just since we're on this tangent, I don't like how they weaken Moon Knight, but I like how they're definitely powering up Daredevil from our MCU. I like it a lot.
Well, I feel like Daredevil's one of the ones where, because Feige called Charlie Cox himself, I feel like that's one of the ones where they know it's kind of like Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. You can't mess this up, because then you're going to piss off a large amount of the fandom. Right,
but I'm saying that if you watch the Netflix series, Daredevil, they powered him down. He had
even some of his senses and things like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yes, he had powers, but they were mundane compared to where in fucking She-Hulk when he's like, there's this many heartbeats in the building, I can train, here they are.
Netflix kind of established that from the beginning, though. Before they even made the series, that was something that they were talking about with Charlie Cox. They were talking about how they wanted to kind of stray away from the more powered up Daredevil, and they wanted to do more of the Daredevil that they did in their series. Mm-hmm. But obviously we're in the MCU, and they are going to touch on Daredevils, because that was the coolest part to me. That's why that episode popped off so well to me, because having Daredevil come in, tell Jen, you're not a superhero. You might think you are, or you might, I don't know what you think you are, but you're not a superhero. I can hear 25 heartbeats. I can hear that there's 10 of them in the hallway. I can hear your heartbeat.
You know, way she's watching him just like jump off the parking garage, like swinging from the level to the level, and she's watching just land and shit like he's a normal human.
Right. Well, that's even like if y'all watched The Defenders. I don't know if y'all invested that much time into all the Netflix series.
I watched some of them, but then I could,
I watched all of Daredevil, all of Jessica Jones, about half of Luke Cage, and that fucking, don't get me started on Iron Fist. But my whole point was when the Defenders came out, there's a scene where they're all getting jumped, all of them together in a room, and they're fighting trained martial artists, right? I mean, and Jessica Jones getting her ass whooped, and she's like, what the fuck? They're doing flips, because she's not a trained superhero. And at one point, she just kind of grabs a guy in super strength, throws him through a fucking wall, and that's all she can do.
Right.
Luke Cage is literally can't touch him. They're wrapping him up, but his skin, so he will get him. And Daredevil is what he carries the team, because he is a superhero. He's trained to fucking fight these people. So, I don't know. Daredevil, he's just dope, and I like the way MCU is going to take him. But to get back to our initial point, I think Feige knows what he's doing. They're building this for a reason, and anyone he's going to grab for the future installment of Secret Wars that's going to get us out of this origin phase is going to be his A-team.
Right. Yeah, no, and I that's why I said with these specials, if that's something that can be done. I mean, because I thought to myself, and one of the things I often think about, because obviously Black Panther being my favorite Marvel character, I often think about is this Wakanda series and this Okoye series and things like that. I don't want them to be series. Because that's going to be 9 to 7 weeks of me. I can't speak on it because I haven't seen it, but
trudging through it.
Yeah, I'd rather see a special. I'd rather see a special like this to where we can get to the fucking point of what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We all know where we are. We're in the MCU. I don't need you to minutely explain that to me. I get it. We're in the MCU.
Right.
So give me the characters, give me that story, give me a special like you did with Werewolf by Night. And with these specials, you don't have to worry about CGI. You don't have to worry about, making CGI work for 9 whole weeks. You're just doing the one special to where it could be the 47 minutes, or you could do like an hour 30, or maybe, I don't want to say make a film, because at that point you're making a movie.
Right.
But An hour, 45 to an hour. That 47 minutes like that to an hour, something like that. But I think that it could be done. I think the specials would be better, in my opinion.
Right, and it's dope too because like if we see Man-Thing show up in anything else from this point on, right, we're gonna be like, we know who he is. You don't gotta really tell us further. We know who it is, right?
Right. That's why I said it was great.
When
great explanations.
When Bloodstone shows up, it's the chick from Werewolf by Night. That's Blood. You don't need an origin for all these fucking people. And then if they become so popular, then do one if you want. It's your choice. But, like, she goes to Battleworld at one point, right? She's important in that. So instead of dedicating months of our lives to watching a fucking series explaining who she is, we now know who she is.
Right.
That's all you need.
Right.
And sometimes mystery is a good thing for a while. Like, not everything has to be fleshed out this much.
I agree.
Would it be a bad idea to do, like, if they do, like, an hour, like, 15, like, those shorter, because, like, most of the movies they're coming out with now are over 2 hours, so would it be a bad idea if they were to look into making, like, an hour-long movie, but letting those hit Disney Plus right away? But still calling it a special as well, like, not really classifying it as a movie, but they can still... they can still make these specials longer, because it's not like we got 47, 45 minutes of show. We got 35, 30 maybe. So it's like, putting them at an hour, 20 minutes with 10 minutes of credits, it's like, yeah, it's really classified as a movie, kind of, but it's like, the way they produce their movies now, they're all over 2 hours. They're like, hour 59. Right. So it's like...
I think that goes back to what we were saying earlier about how much time do you need? You know what I'm saying? If you're directing in whatever project it is, and I need you to bring in 3 characters, right? I'm gonna look at you and say, how much time do you need, dude? And if you say, I need an hour 50, well, then we can discuss it being 2-part special, or a movie, or whatever. If you tell me you need 6 episodes, you need 6 episodes. It just depends on what you're trying to do. Right. You know, this was supposed to be a cool Halloween thing. It was them testing the waters for the first time on a special. How are they going to do it? And it worked, and that's all the time they needed.
It clearly worked.
And
Look at the reviews, and not just the reviews, but the score that it's gotten on Rotten Tomatoes, both critic and the audience scoring. It's phenomenal. It is the best scored thing they've had in Phase 4.
I still say it's like one of the reasons why is because we didn't know much about it coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I said that while we were reacting to it, and it's like, Marvel is just so much better when you don't get all these leaks and videos online.
But
it's not even their like theories or like plot leaks or theories like that. It's just like,
it's the TV spots.
I hate seeing stuff.
It's the self-sabotage that Marvel does themselves.
Right, but I think it's also a cool deal that, like, I don't know, these specials just, it gives them an opportunity to, hey, bring in, we're going to make a special, it's going to have these 2 characters in it, but when we leave, when the special's over and we as the audience are done, we have more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And if done right, dude, I'm going to bring this up because it was on whenever I came in here, like Deadpool 1. The first half of that fucking movie's on that bridge where he's shooting people. Damn near. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can make 45 minutes of a badass action scene with a slight little sprinkle, Salt Bay of origin story. Something to get you going, but actually create 9 more questions. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even one person is like, I have to get a hold of Bruce Banner at the, or whatever, and it's like, well, why would he need to? What the fuck is going on? And that's it. And now you're invested. Now you want to know more. Now you're salivating for the project where the questions they gave you get answered.
Right.
Where unlike in these series like She-Hulk, y'all watched how many episodes for one good fucking like awesome knock it out of the park episode?
That's why I said in the reaction.
So it's like,
obviously the ability to write has always been there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, instead of doing this whole we trudged all this way for you to give me this, right? To finally you're getting to your point. Instead, it's just like, oh wow, you got to your point, and I want to know more.
Yeah. Like I said with the series, I am where I am. Marvel, but I've never on the train of Marvel's done because again, Phase 5 is on its way.